There is a weird sort of liberation that arrives the instant you release your hold on everything. You let go of the what, ifs, and what can possibly go wrong, and suddenly life starts moving. Worry, despite all its din, is a cage of shadows. It traps you in a future that doesn't even arrive yet, taking away from you the peace and power you already possess within. But when you start letting go, when you decide to trust the flow of life rather than fight it, something amazing occurs. The current changes. Life in its own quiet intelligence begins working with you. Not because you pushed it, but because you finally gave it room to flow. In this video, I am sharing 7-time, tested Buddhist lessons, soft but powerful teachings that can guide you out of the holding pattern of worry and into the peace that has been patiently waiting for you all along. Lesson number 1, fear is a seed. Plant it and it grows. In Buddhist philosophy, the energy you hold within is the world you experience outside. Fear is not merely a feeling, it is a filter. And the more you live through it, the more warped your reality is. The joke's on you. When you are afraid of something intensely, you start living as if it were true. You unwittingly give it life. Think about this. You are scared of losing your job. That fear permeates your behavior. You procrastinate, second-guess, shrink. That fear, it muddles your thinking. You might even begin to pull away, and innocently, you slide towards the very thing you dreaded. The same holds true for relationships. Fear of abandonment will cause us to cling or doubt, and that same anxiety can drive others away. It is not destiny conspiring against you. It is fear operating inside of you. Buddhism offers that the mind is akin to earth. It doesn't condemn what you sow. If you sow seeds of fear or seeds of peace, the mind will nurture them. But you are the gardener. You decide what germinates. It doesn't mean denial. It means diverting your attention from fear to being present. When fear comes up, stop, breathe, question yourself. Is this thought contributing to peace or fueling panic? You are not helpless. You are the architect of your inner landscape. And when your inner world shifts, your outer world starts to change too. Release fear and see how life starts to soften, open and flow in ways you never could have imagined. Lesson 2, real strength is in surrender. These days, we're usually advised that strength is about control. Control your time, control your triumph, control the result. Work harder, plan harder, grip tighter. But Buddhist wisdom brings something entirely different and much more liberating. It teaches us that actual strength isn't a matter of hanging on tighter. It is a matter of letting go, not of surrendering, but of surrendering the delusion that we can control every instant, every person, every result with our willpower. Surrender in the Buddhist sense is not weakness. It is a holy release. It is the art of doing the best you can and then getting out of the way with faith, trusting that karma and the natural flow of life will take over. Imagine water in your cupped hand. The harder you grasp, the quicker it slips through. But if your hand is open, the water remains. That is letting go. Not passive, not negligent, simply open. It is a stillness that says, I've done my best. Now I entrust life to meet me halfway. When we get out of the way, something magnificent occurs. Our energy comes back. Our mind clears. We begin to see opportunities we were too nervous to spot earlier. Assistance comes in the form of people we never expected. Life starts to cooperate with us rather than against us. Buddhism says that surrender is not a conclusion. It is the beginning. It is the beginning of genuine freedom. And in that freedom, you don't lose power. You find it. Lesson 3. Anxiety is tomorrow's peace. Today's Buddhist wisdom teaches us a simple fact. Anxiety cannot reside in the present moment. It resides in the mind's projections. What may happen? What can go wrong? What we fear is arriving. But all of that isn't real. It is all a film being screened in the future. When you get anxious, pay attention to where your thoughts are. They're racing forward. creating stories, spinning tales, bringing you into a place that isn't yet here. A place of what? Ifs and maybe. And while you are there, you lose the only point in life that does exist. Right here, this minute, this breath is home. And in this place you are okay. You are breathing. You are solid. You are enough. This is the practice of Buddhism. They call it mindfulness. The soft work of coming back to now. And with each return, you break anxiety's hold. Because in the present, there is nothing pursuing you. No future to be afraid of. Only this peaceful, quiet second where life is happening one breath at a time. The mind can thunder, but the moment speaks softly. And the softer you listen, the more you know. Peace isn't something you learn somewhere else. It is already inside you, hidden in the noise, just waiting to be remembered. Lesson 4. The weight of thought of fears. So much of what troubles our minds never occurs. Buddhist teaching provides a subtle, strong reminder. Our biggest cause of worry all too often is not reality. It is imagination. We fret, we anguish. We lie awake at night over situations that never happen. We tote fears like rocks in an invisible backpack, pulling them along each day when most of them never materialize. Why do we do it? Because the human mind is a writer that never ceases writing. It writes endless what-ifs, creating vivid scenarios of problems that are not yet there, and perhaps never will be. It tells us about catastrophes, breakups, and failures that only exist in the mind, not reality. Consider it. How many times have you prepared for a tough conversation that turned out to be okay, or dreaded the worst regarding something that worked itself out peacefully? The storm never comes the way we pictured it, and sometimes it does not come at all. This is the catch of worry. It warps proportion. It makes remote dangers so close, we begin responding to illusions as if they are realities. Buddhism reminds us, just because a thought rises doesn't mean it needs believing. The mind can imagine tales, yet we don't have to live within all of them. So the next time you find yourself spinning into fear, stop. Ask yourself kindly, is this really occurring? Or is this a thought? You'll frequently find you've been struggling against shadows, not substance. Freedom starts when we come back to this moment. Not next week, not tomorrow, but now. Allow the feared on possibilities to melt away. What exists is frequently much kinder than what we dread. And when you do cease living in the mind's projections, life begins to feel lighter, clearer, and much more peaceful. Lesson 5. Control blocks faith. This is a bitter truth, but a very liberating one. You can't hold the steering wheel and continue to believe the road will take you where you want to go. Buddhism teaches us that trust and control are like two travelers going in opposite directions. The tighter you hold control, the further away you move from trust. And the more you trust, the more you have to release it. Attempts to micromanage every aspect of your life are tantamount to telling the universe, I don't think you will take care of me. It is a quiet but potent expression of fear. The fear that things will go haywire if you are not always in control. But has controlling ever really led to peace? Often, the more we seek to control results, the more enmeshed we are in worry, tension, and exhaustion. Control may provide an illusion of security, but it is usually motivated by a silent panic below faith. Is not passive, however. It is strong, it says. I've done what I can. Now I trust the unfolding. It enables you to act without being held captive by the outcome. It invites mystery. It has faith in timing. You cannot influence, and outcomes you may not yet fully comprehend. Buddhist principles refer to this as the release of attachment. You work with purpose, but you let go of the fixation on how things should be. Like planting a seed in the ground, you give it water, you feed it, but you don't pull at it to make it grow faster. True growth involves having faith in unseen roots. Ask yourself, are you gripping so tightly that you've forgotten to breathe? Are you working so hard at coercing a future that you've lost faith in life's quiet wisdom? Letting go isn't abandonment. It is being fully present, and then letting life greet you on its own terms. That is where the practice of faith starts, and with it, peace. Lesson 6. Letting go is how you start to expand. Anxiety has a subtle way of constricting your world. It begins imperceptibly. A few tentative thoughts, some overplanning, a fear of what could go wrong. You reassure yourself that you are just being cautious. But eventually, that caution is a prison. You start to shrink without even realizing it. You shrink your dreams because they feel too unpredictable. You shrink your voice because you don't want to be judged. You shrink your heart because it is safer not to risk getting hurt. Worry doesn't keep you safe. It constricts. It is similar to walking. You move your intention to what is really yours, your mind, your decisions, your compassion, and let go of what wasn't ever going to be grasped so tightly. Imagine this. You are standing in a river. The harder you try to hold the water in your hands, the quicker it escapes through your fingers. But when you unwind, when you float, the river takes you. That is the point of surrender. The more you let go of the stranglehold of fear, the more space you create within yourself for courage, for imagination, for joy. Letting go is huge. It is courageous. It welcomes you back to the present, where life is really taking place. Not in the what, ifs, but in the here and now. Ask yourself, how much energy do you waste every day worrying about things you have no control over? And what if you invested that same energy into creating, into connecting, into trusting? When you let go of trying to push life into your blueprint and start dancing with its rhythm, something remarkable occurs. You feel held by something larger than yourself, the natural wisdom of life itself. Letting go isn't weakness. It is courage. It is strength to stop shrinking and the ability to begin living with an open heart. Breathe. Let the load subside. And don't forget, you don't have to carry it all. Freedom starts when you decide to let go. Lesson 7. Life begins to flow when you step aside. This is one of the strongest but most understated truths in Buddhist teaching. Life runs best when we do not try so hard to control every inch of it. The more we interfere, the more resistance there is. The more we cling, the more chaos we attract. But when we learn to step back, not out of neglect but from trust, something amazing starts to occur. Life begins to move on its own with a rhythm much smarter than our plans. But this concept can be deeply disturbing. We've been taught since childhood that control is safety, that if we don't work hard to correct and micromanage things constantly, they will fall apart. So we step in, we overthink discussions, expect issues that have yet to emerge, pursue outcomes that have yet to ripen, and insinuate ourselves into every aspect, thinking that if we don't, we will be left behind or fail completely. But that constant interference generates more resistance than flow. It saps our energy, confuses our discernment, and exhausts us from attempting to control what was never ours to control in the first place. Buddhism provides an alternative, a softer approach. It is teaching that by letting go of the need to control, we create space for life to unfold with its own wisdom. Like a stream finding its own way through the ground, your life can flow its way forward if you will no longer dam it with fear and control. Consider all the times you've tried to make something be, a relationship, a job, a choice, and seen it collapse or blow up. Then consider those moments when you let go, breathed deeply, and let things be, and how much better they actually turned out. Your anxiety, your fretting, your mental clinging, these are like the stones you toss into the river. They muddy the water, but once you clear away the impediments, the water runs smoothly once more. Life does the same. Meddling doesn't render life safer. It makes it more difficult. It creates possibility instead of pressure. And in attempting to hold everything at bay, you tend to shut the door to greater things that might have come, if only you had left them alone. Then, how do you do it? Begin with observation. Observe when you are holding on too tight, checking your phone repeatedly for a response, reconsidering a choice for the 10th time, or pushing someone or something to go faster than they are willing to. Ask yourself, what if I released my grip? What if I did what I needed and then let everything else go? Non-inference isn't apathy. It is all about seeing what is rightfully yours to do and letting go of the rest. You sow the seed, you care for it, but you don't pull on it in hopes that it will develop quicker development. If in nature or in your life, happens on its own time. It can't be made. Visualize this. You are holding a delicate butterfly in your palms. If you grip your fingers in fear, you'll crush it. But if you release your hand and hold your palm open, it might stay longer, or even return once it departs. Your goals, your relationships, your sense of peace, all of them require some room to breathe. The tighter you grip them, the more they will slip away. The more space you create for them, the more they begin to develop naturally. And then there is a shift. Life itself starts to propel you. The right people come into your life. The right timing arrives. New solutions emerge without being imposed upon you. You no longer feel like everything hinges solely upon you. And that is when your breath becomes easy and your heart softens. You realize that what you did not want to occur without your control was never intended to be imposed in the first place. Fear is usually the cause of our desire to intervene. Fear of not doing things right, of losing, of not being sufficient. But the greater truth is that life never expects perfection from you. It expects trust, a peaceful, steady faith in the unfolding of your own path. You don't have to manage every scene. There are times when you simply need to play your part and let the story unfold. So stop, take a minute to realize one place where you've been over micromanaging. Is it a conversation you are replaying in your head? A choice you are insisting on because you are afraid to wait? An aspiration you are strangling with endless anxiety? Ask yourself, what would it be to release here? Not through indolence, but through profound trust. The instant you release your hold, life has room to breathe. It starts to move up to meet you in ways logic cannot begin to comprehend. That is when synchronicities appear. That is when grace arrives. That is when you are being lifted not by effort, but by something beyond yourself. Buddhism teaches us that we're not here to dominate life. We're here to live in harmony with it. Life is not something to control, but a current to surf. You can't placate the ocean, but you can master how to ride its waves. You can't command the tide, but you can swim with it. What you grasp too tightly, you enclose. What you let go of, you set free, and what you allow to no longer obstruct begins to grow. You don't need to fix everything at one time. You simply need to take a single step at a time. Breathe deeply and release the delusion that your control is what keeps things in motion. Let today be the beginning of a new way of life. Release one concern. Trust one unknown and let life bring you something better than what you might have coerced. Because when you no longer push, you begin to receive. When you no longer interfere, life begins to really flow, not against you, but with you. Ultimately, life is not a war to be won, but a melody to dance to. And the more you struggle to control, the more you lose the beauty that emerges when you trust. Buddhism isn't a call to abandon your responsibilities or give up caring. It is an invitation to drop the burdens that were never yours to bear. It is a request to let go of fear, to release your grip, and make room for life to happen in its own mysterious and wonderful way. As you proceed, recall that you don't have to know it all. You don't have to fight the tide. Your power lies not in control, but in alignment. Breathe deeply. Have faith in timing and understand that when you let go of interfering, you enter into a life with clarity, peace, and greater purpose. If this video resonated with you, please thumbs up the video. Subscribe for more inspiration sparked by Buddhist teachings. And if you know someone who is struggling or stuck, share it with them. It could be just what they need. Also, leave a comment below. What is one thing you are willing to stop getting in the way of? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, breathe deeply, trust gently, and walk softly with life.